Greetings, Titans of everyday life. Welcome to another episode on the Best You Right Now show. My name is JB. I will be your host this morning. Today, I'd like to talk with you about what to do when your boundaries are actually crossed and what happens when you follow through with them. But before we get into that, I want to thank you for taking the time to download and listen to this particular episode. There's a specific reason that you picked this one out of all the others. Maybe it's the way that I titled it. Maybe it's you've just been listening for a while and you're just binging the next one. Maybe it's because you do check in every single day. And I don't know. I don't know what your reason is, but I know that the reason is bigger than you and I. You see something that wants to just make you better. And that's the purpose of the show, to help you get to whatever the best version of you is, whenever you'd like, as often as you like. And then you take those abilities and those skills and you help others get to the best of themselves. And then by doing so, we beautify the world. Everything doesn't just make it better. It just gives us a better shot at this. So that being said, let's actually talk about what happens when you set clear and specific boundaries and people that you care about overstep them. And then you actually have to do the thing you said you didn't want to do if the boundary was crossed. You know, it's one thing for us as people to be clear on boundaries. I mean, it's one thing to even just set a boundary, let alone try to be clear with it. Not everybody knows how to do that. And that in itself is a challenge. Just being clear on what you're willing to accept and willing not to accept. And they evolve over time. As you have more experiences, as you grow in your life, as you become somebody different, somebody new. Every moment you get to make a decision. And every moment shifts, changes, and adapts to where you're going to go next. It's so amazing how this life can work. So when we set our boundaries, that means that at some point, at some level, in our bodies, in our minds, our spirits, our hearts, we have said, no, I will not allow that to happen. And if it does, this is what I'm going to do. If you've never set a boundary like that yet, or specifically with intention, let's go back to maybe one you set that wasn't intention-filled. Maybe it was a relationship, a past relationship, an ex-boyfriend, an ex-girlfriend, an ex-spouse, an ex-partner, whatever it is that the definition is in this time and day of recording. At some point, one of you said, that's enough for me. I don't want to do it anymore. If you talk with her too many times, I'm going to leave. If you keep hitting me, I'm leaving you. We found something. Maybe it was a job. If they push another report on me last minute, I'm walking into my boss's office and I'm giving 2 weeks notice. You set a boundary, right? But most of the time we set it in anger. We set it in with an emotion that we probably shouldn't have. And then we try to make sound decisions off of a fleeting moment of emotion that does not care about logic. And then we try to make our life founded on that. So when I say setting clear and specific boundaries, it's one of those like, let's put it this way. Your emotions are calm, you're even, and you think about your work. You think about your day. If I get asked last minute to do a report, I'm going to let the team know that I may not get a chance to do this. And then I will do my best to reach out and find out what's a priority. That's a clear boundary. If they still ask me to do it and they need it done by a certain time, I will tell them that I only have a certain amount of time in the day and I'm only working until this specific time. And if it's needed after that, they'll have to pay me more to do it after work, or they'll have to wait until the next morning when I start my shift. That's a clear and specific boundary. Then we have to ask ourselves, well, what will we do if they don't follow through with that? And for a job, sometimes it means putting your foot down and saying, no, even if I lose my job. Personal integrity is far more important than a personal paycheck. A paycheck will come and go. A paycheck can happen at any given time. You can get a paycheck every day if you want. Hell, you can get a paycheck every hour, depending on how you operate. But your personal integrity, nobody can take that away unless you give it to them, and nobody can give it to you unless you accept it. Personal integrity is yours and yours alone. So when we make our boundaries clear, we have an opportunity then to prove our worth of integrity. I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders. I have to remember there's not a camera on. I'm used to educating this in the class. I'm used to talking with clients and potential students that this is what we do. This is how we set goals. This is how we set boundaries in our lives. This is how we create a foundation that we care about, something that we resonate with. I will tell you that if somebody crosses your boundary, it will feel uncomfortable. You will need to take a stand. You will probably have some emotion with that. This does not give us the reasons or the rights to blast people open and make fun of them. It doesn't give us the right to point out what they're doing wrong. It does give us the responsibility to talk factually about what happened. You and your partner get into an argument. You and your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, a relationship you care about, you get into an argument. And you say something like, "Oh, you're making me angry." Are they really making you angry? I mean, in that moment, it feels like it, but think about the overall relationship you have with this person. Especially if it's like a spouse or a partner that you're romantically involved with. Are they really making you angry all the time? Are they really, if you really go back into your memories? What about the times that you giggled and laughed over breakfast? What about the sensual moments that you have, the intimate moments where you were all about each other and everything else in the world falls apart and it's just the two of you? Are you really angry in that moment? Probably not. The person that's hurting you doesn't make you angry. You're feeling angry in that moment, in that specific time, or those moments leading up to the bigger moment. So no, it does not give us the right to just look at somebody, "Oh, you make me so angry." I think it's more phrased in a way where we look at the actions that have been taken and then how we feel about it. Is it really anger? Or is it maybe fear of being alone? Maybe it's a fear of loss. Maybe it's just a fear of not being enough. And maybe they're saying something that brings that up. You know, when you constantly tell me that I'm doing this wrong, I feel like you don't care about me. I feel like I'm not good enough. When you raise your voice at me, I feel like you don't care about me. And I know you do, I feel like you don't. What type of moment are you allowing in there when you look at a boundary of yours being crossed and you approach it in such a way that it's not pointing the finger at anybody, but just saying the situation for what it is? When you don't eat the dinner I made for you, I feel like you don't really appreciate me. I don't feel appreciated. That's probably better. I don't feel appreciated. When I make the meals that I make for you and you don't eat them, I don't feel appreciated around here. I feel like I'm worthless. And what usually happens? No. I don't think you're worthless. No, not at all. I think you're amazing. The truth is, I didn't eat it because I don't really like this meal. And I never told you because I was afraid that if I told you that you would get upset with me, and I don't want to upset you. I care about you. Well, you know what? It's right. I didn't even ask if you like this meal. I just kind of assumed that you did because I like it. How about this? Next time I want to make this meal, is there anything I could do differently? Or maybe we could do something different? No. make the meal and I'll eat as much as I can. It doesn't make me sick. I just don't like the taste. I'll eat as much as I can. Do you see where the conversation can go? Do you see that maybe if we looked at what we actually cared about and the boundaries that we have in place and we actually fulfilled a side where maybe we were a little bit kinder on all spectrums from both sides. And I know it's not easy because the other side may not want to feel that way, but at least have the integrity on your end to do your part. Will you have an emotional blow up? Absolutely. Will you freak out every now and then? Absolutely. Will you get a chance to make it better? Maybe not with the other person, but with you? Absolutely. I feel like we need to dive into this more, but I'm at my destination and you know what that means. I got to run. So know that I care about you, know that I appreciate you, and know that today is a great day. And even if you have not experienced it yet yourself, hang in there, Titan. I know you will soon.